Howdy folks, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mordecai the Hunter and I'm here to help you shoot better at cowboy action. And to do that this week we are looking at stages from Comin at Ya, hosted by T-Bone Dooley at the Bar 3 in Clarksville, Texas. By the way, if you've never been, T-Bone has a glorious range where we shot 12 stages over the course of 3 days in the main match, but participants did have the option of shooting over 70 stages over the course of a week, including Cowboy, Wild Bunch, PCC, and side matches, all for a shot at the title of the Ultimate Iron Cowboy. On top of that, the evening activities included live bands, potlucks, a cornhole tournament, and thousands of dollars in giveaways. So if you didn't make it this year, be sure to mark your calendars for 2023. Speaking of which, T-Bone has announced that for 2023, veterans are shooting for free. So if you've served our country, please come join us next year for this amazing event. I promise you'll have a good time. Anyway, one of the great things about this match is that you can sign up for more than one category, which is fortunate for me because on day one, I discovered that my cross-draw holster does not have enough retention and a pistol hit the ground while I was running. So, after I finished mourning my loss, I decided to double down and try shooting with guns in both hands. A big shout out to Hooch, not the alcohol, that's his alias, for loaning me a rig and even his main match vaqueros so that I could try to redeem myself and shoot the rest of the match. Now, to give a little context for the rest of this video, I have toyed with gunfighter during some dry fire practice and maybe shot at a handful of monthly matches, so I definitely wouldn't say I'm an expert here, but it should give me a lot to talk about, so let's go ahead and get started. Here's what you missed on the range.
Alrighty, we begin our gunfighter experience at Stage 2, the Petticoat Junction and Jailhouse. We have 10 pistol holstered, 10 rifles staged to the left side of the ticket counter, and 2+ shotgun at port-of-arms behind the stove. The start will be with the shotgun at port-of-arms behind the stove, hands holding the shotgun at port-of-arms. Hey y'all, by the way, the shotgun is at port-of-arms. Anyway, at the buzzer, with the shotgun, engage 2 knockdown targets in any order, then retrieve the rifle and triple tap the center rifle target, then place 1 round on each outside target and repeat. Move to the right side of the ticket counter with the pistols and repeat the rifle instructions.
Happier and a gopher and soft dirt. That's it. 17.
Okay, so I didn't read it out loud, but I did notice that on the stage notes it mentions the plant and poke rule, which I thought was kind of odd since we're starting with a shotgun. But I was talking with Verdigris about this stage later in the day, and another way to do this would have been to run to the rifle shelf first. That way you can be pulling the shells out of your belt while you're moving, and you're already at the table for your transition to the rifle. As you can see, I'm still struggling getting a good chuck while running, but I was pretty happy with the shotgun to rifle transition. I didn't actually get to witness anyone run to the rifle table first, but if I got a reshoot, I'd definitely try it. All right, folks, here it is, the moment you've been waiting for. 2 guns at once! Oh my god, so cool. So in addition to the adrenaline of the timer, I'm basking in how awesome I look and totally lose track of the pattern we're supposed to be shooting. So I've really gotten a strong start here with a 17:05 and a 10-second penalty for shooting out of order. Anyway, now that we got that clean match thing out of the way, let's move on to stage 3 at Lil's Asylum and Marshall's Pub. Looks like we're starting with the rifle at port-of-arms in the center opening. Target order is a progressive sweep starting on either end, so 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3, and 4-on-4. Make rifle safe in the wall box and retrieve shotgun. Knock down 2 targets, make shotgun safe in box, and then engage the pistol targets, same as rifle instructions from the center window. Let's see what happened.
Whatever. Let's see.
Stand by. Alright, so here we are at Port of Arms again. I guess I need to practice that more often. Not that I think anything went bad, just I usually focus on picking up my rifle from the table or starting at the ready. Anyway, so we did have the choice of using a box on the right or the left side of the stage. Being right-handed, I chose to go to the right box, but if I had a reshoot, I would have gone to the left. When I was switching from rifle to shotgun at the right-hand box, the rifle crosses in front of the shotgun, so I had to pull the shotgun back farther so that the rifle cleared the shotgun barrel. If I had to use the left box, the rifle would be crossing behind the shotgun, so the movement would have been more efficient. It also occurs to me that I could have restaged the shotgun with the action closed. It's not against the rules so long as there are no empty holes in the chamber. Either way, it's pretty clear I need to practice pulling in staging from a vertical box. I've encountered a couple of scenarios where the guns are staged vertically, but not usually at the same time like this. Anyway, for the pistols, I will say that I purposefully did not double cock since I lost track of the pattern on the last stage. I certainly felt slower, but it was much easier to count and find a rhythm, and I think it made me more consistent for the rest of the match. Moving on to stage 4, Billy Boots' freight office. We are starting at the front of the wagon with hands touching the rifle flat on the table. At the beep, engage the targets in a Wyoming sweep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then with the pistols, repeat the rifle instructions. No shotgun targets for this stage. Let's see how it went.
All right, let's do it.
Stand by. All right, 1468 and
Alright, so in case you're not aware, T-Bone has a stage with some chickens on it that are apparently a bear to shoot at, which we'll get to see in a little bit. But as a joke, he made an announcement that this year he would have 8-foot chickens so everyone would stop complaining. In true prankster fashion, these targets were born. Now, the funny thing about this stage is that the targets are so big that there is a lot of movement in between them, so you really have to focus on being smooth without getting ahead of yourself. Now, you might have noticed that I managed to miss one of these monstrosities with my last rifle shot, and before you start judging me, we had to start behind the wagon, and if you shoot a stage prop, it's a stage DQ. What I should have done was just taken a step after the beep like I did for my pistols. Anyway, the miss was a little embarrassing, but I can't say it wasn't fun. Okay, last stage for day 1 takes us back to stage 1 at Miss Joyce's school for complicated ladies. And true to the name, we have lots of choices on this stage. The starting position is shooter's choice with hands on hat, and the gun order is shooter's choice so long as the rifle is not last. If that's not enough to get your brain rolling, the target order is a what the heck suite, which means you have to shoot the targets in the following order: 1, 5, 4, 2, 3. Confused yet? Let's see what happened.
Let's do it.
stand by.
2114, and y'all caught one.
Okay, so I chose to start with the rifle just because that's my personal preference, but I do remember talking to Hold'em at one point, and he actually said that the most time-consuming thing for a gunfighter is reholstering. So as a gunfighter, you should try to shoot your pistols last. If I were shooting two-handed, I did see some folks shoot the rifle from the center window and the shotgun from the far right, but I wasn't super happy with the angle of the knockdowns for that approach. It did work for some of the other shooters, so it must not have been too bad. I'll point out here that even though I knocked down the 2 center targets with one shot, I still fired 4 shots total. I did that because you still have to technically engage the target, even though it's already down. I also moved between pairs on the shotgun, so all I had to do was step around the barrier to start the pistols. Not sure what it is about those little triangles cut out of the sides of those targets, but I definitely shot right through one of them, and with my right-handed pistol. Look at it! There it goes! Bah! Anyway, that wraps up day 1. Time to have a few beers, enjoy a cornhole tournament, and chill out till tomorrow. Hooray! Time travel! Anyway, we are kicking off day 2 at stage 6, the Iron Maiden. Starting at the right opening with hands at high surrender, the shooter will engage the pistol targets as follows: 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, or 2, 2, 3, 2, 1, and repeat. So double tapping the center target and then sweeping all 3 targets. Rifle same as pistol and knock down the shotgun targets. Let's see what happened.
At your pleasure.
He strung higher than a $2 fiddle.
Stand by.
Couple one.
Alright, so first off, you might have noticed that I'm sporting my new Mernicle gun belt today. Dropping that pistol yesterday really shook me, and honestly, I've been eyeing their stuff for a while anyway, so I'm happy to report that their holsters are everything I hoped for and more. Anyway, back to the stage. I did start double cocked here, but took my time aiming both pistols and alternated after that. Not really cocking while aiming and firing the other, but I still feel like my rhythm is getting better. Watching the video, it does look like there's a lot of space between my pistols. I think it might be better to hold them closer together and move my whole upper body like a turret rather than trying to move my hands to where I think the target will be. Anyway, I managed to not make a fool of myself, yet, and maybe gave any new gunfighters some food for thought. Rifle work felt pretty solid here. I'm still slamming the rifle down with my left hand when I'm done with it. I've been practicing putting it down with my right hand, but it's not super natural to me yet. Oh my god, missed the first shotgun target, really? I guess I need to practice getting that shotgun up on my shoulder before they bring the shells up to it. I get it most of the way there, and then I'm kind of moving it into position as I'm trying to roll my shells in, so maybe that's what's causing the problem. This is why we reviewed the tapes, folks. Moving on to stage 7 at the big wagon. Starting with the rifle at the ready in position 1, dump all 10 rifle rounds on the big Cowboy. Then restage the rifle in the box and grab your shotgun. Shoot the 2 knockdowns from position 1, then move to position 2. Engage the 2 knockdowns and then move to position 3. Engage the 2 knockdowns and then dump 10 pistol rounds on that big old Cowboy. Looks like we've got another reminder for the plant and poke roll in the stage notes, and you can't move downrange until you've knocked down those first 2 shotgun targets. Looks like fun. Let's see how it went.
Let's do it. Stand by. Woo! 23:66. Good time.
Okay, so first off, pretty proud of the fact that I did not jack around during the rifle dump. I know people tend to have mixed feelings about dump targets, but I do try to take advantage of them when I can, and it doesn't always go so smoothly. So the big focus here was to really punch the lever back and forth to make sure I got through the complete cycle. Watching the replay, it does look like this aggressive approach was causing my rifle sights to move around a lot, so I'll have to play around with it and see if I can tighten that up a bit. Did have a bit of a bobble there pulling the shotgun out of the box. Not sure what I could have done differently there to keep it from closing on me, so I guess I need to come back for a monthly match and practice that. Anyway, I did make a point to have the shotgun shouldered and the shells up by the time I was done sprinting to the far table, and yes, in case you were wondering, this is the stage where I lost my cross-draw pistol, so consider this your public service announcement that retention matters and a little resistance on the draw is better than a gun on the ground. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I got a huge rush doing this pistol dump. It was a hot mess, but it was a rush. Watching the video, I feel like my rhythm was pretty good on this, but you can see my sights wobbling all over the place. I'm pretty sure I missed this ridiculously large target 3 times, but I guess the counters were being generous or maybe hungover from the night before, because they only called me on 1. Regardless, I felt like I had redeemed myself from the day before, and I couldn't stop grinning at the unloading table. Let's move on to stage 8 at the OK Corral. Looks like we have the rifle and shotgun staged on a horse and starting at high surrender. At the beat, retrieve the rifle and engage the 10 knockdowns, then move to the pistol and knock those down. Looks like you have to do a reload if you jack around from the rifle, but anything you don't hit, you can make up with the shotgun on the static target. Piece of cake. Let's see how it went.
All right, let's do it.
Stand by. One makeup. All right, 25 on 3. 25 on 3.
Alright, not too bad. The first thing I'll point out is that I do have the rifle turned on its side so that I can see the lever and pick it up like I normally do from a table. The targets are lined up pretty nicely, so there isn't a lot of movement in between, and really, the knockdowns did fall over pretty quickly, so there's just a little hesitation between shots. I think the main challenge for this stage is the movement between the horse and the pistol targets. Now, the stage instructions do not mandate that you bring the shotgun with you since you only need it for makeups, but I don't think anyone was competent enough to leave it. So then you have to decide what to do with the rifle. For two-handed or duelist shooters, it might have been worth restaging the rifle at the horse so that you have a hand free to draw a pistol as you're running to the other table. Personally, I hate restaging on anything that's not a table, and since I'm drawing both guns at the same time anyway, it seemed faster to just grab the shotgun and run. For the pistols, we've already decided we're just going for cool factor here, so I had this image in my head where I would start on the outsides and work my way in, which clearly isn't the best way to approach this since it wasn't required, and I end up missing a target and reverting back to holding the guns close together anyway. During the reading, the RO mentioned that you can stage your pistols or return them to leather before the shotgun makeup, but I couldn't remember that on the clock, so that's what that weird hesitation was. At least I only had one makeup. Anyway, last stage for day 2 was at Sibo's Chicken Chateau. Looks like we'll be starting at the center of the stage with both hands touching the post. At the beep, double tap the center target and then single tap the left or right bank of targets. Then repeat using the opposite bank. Run to the right side and engage the pistol, same as rifle, then run all the way to the left and knock down the shotgun targets. Remember those chickens everyone's talking about? These are them. Wish me luck.
Stud!
Stand by. Clean, and got them all.
All right, I hit them all. Can you believe it? Okay, so obviously I really took my time to aim at these targets, and I feel like they are a little deceptive. The little heads being bright red really draws your eye, but the large part of the target is the tails, and it did seem like there were several folks who unfortunately shot right in between the two. In fact, I think I missed one with the rifle and the pistols when I tried this two-handed, so the extra time was clearly worth it. One of the things that's really exaggerated here is the in and out movements of the pistols as I'm alternating. I extend my arm, aim, pull the trigger, and then move that gun back so I can extend the next gun, aim, pull the trigger, and so on. The problem with this technique is that you basically are resetting your aim every time you switch guns. So it takes much longer to get an accurate sight picture, or you just straight up miss a huge cowboy target trying to go too fast. Not to brag, but world champion gunfighter Rusty Remington hangs out at some of the clubs near me, so I asked him about how he approaches his pistol work. His method is to keep both arms fully extended and then move the guns laterally into your line of sight. By combining this with a little head movement, the guns stay more naturally pointed and level so he doesn't have to hunt for the sights while he's alternating. Obviously, some muscle memory and practice helps with manipulating the guns and resetting after each shot, but this little tip makes a ton of sense, and I feel like it's something you could do immediately to improve your game. Anyway, we have finally made it to day 3, and starting off with stage 10 at Boozy's Still Shack. Looks like we are starting at the window with hands on hat. At the beep, engage the 10 rifle knockdowns, then take the rifle with you to the pistol targets and knock those down. Then make up any standing targets with the shotgun on the static target. So nothing too fancy, let's see what happened.
Stud!
Stand by. Makeup. Good.
Alright, so spoiler alert, this is knockdown day. So the good news is everyone was clean, but the fastest shooters were the ones that were the most accurate. So even though misses don't really count, you're still penalized by the fact that you can't shoot your shotgun fast enough to outrun your other guns. I think I've mentioned before that competition speed is always a gamble on speed versus accuracy, and here's an example of where it didn't pay off. I think I got a little cocky on the bottom targets, which were slightly larger, and I really should have been slowing down for the smaller top targets. Not to mention that this is the first stage, so I'll give some blame to going in cold. Still can't believe I missed that first pistol shot. If I was doing this over, I would have tried drawing my right pistol as I was running to the table. Now, I've been starting with my left pistol this whole time, so it might have messed up my rhythm, but being able to start with either pistol first might be a good skill to have. You can see here again the tedious process of me searching for my sights, which is even more important because the targets are tiny. So if you need another example of why I think Rusty's advice would help me improve, here it is. Looks like I got confused and tried to grab the rifle instead of the shotgun, so I was all over the place. The stuck hole didn't help either, but at least it came out after the second try and I didn't have to dig it out with my fingers. I know I said I was going to start brushing my chambers after each stage, but clearly we haven't formed that habit yet. Next up, we have Stage 11 at the Lone Star Hotel. We are starting at the beginning of the hallway with shotgun in hands at Port of Arms. At the beep, engage the shotgun targets from the 4 openings, then push down the large tombstone and engage the knockdown plates until down. Put the remaining rounds on the dump plate, and misses don't count. No rifle on this stage, but still looks like fun. Let's watch.
Set. Stand by. All right, 29.56 and clean.
Okay, so not too bad. The challenge on this stage is the footwork and how to approach the shotgun openings. The idea is to be as efficient as possible with your steps so that you're not wasting time outside of shucking, loading, and aiming. My plan was to shoot them in the order they are listed in the instructions. Shooting the targets in the left door first means I'm turning to the right, as is natural for a right-handed shooter, to door number 2. From there, door number 3 is closer to the entrance, making that an easy decision, and then process of elimination leaves us at door 4. However, if I was doing this again, I would shoot doorway number 2 first. Because of how the targets are positioned, the targets in doorway 2 come into line of sight first, so they are fewer steps from the entrance. Turning to the left is less of a challenge here since you don't have to worry about swinging your barrel too far and having to bring it back to the right after you get into position. And you can take your extra step to doorway 1 while shucking before moving on to 3 and 4 like normal. One of the quirks on this stage is that the knockdown targets do fall over, but they fall over really slow. So while this wasn't a big problem for my speed of shooting, it is worth noting that some folks did need to slow down and actually wait for the targets to fall so they could hit the target behind it. There were even a few shooters that ran out of rounds before the last target went down. And yeah, I know I missed one on the dump target, but hey, the instructions said misses don't count, so I was just going for it. Okay, moving on to stage 12 at Daisy Lane. Looks like we are starting behind a door with hands at low surrender. At the beep, move through door 1 and retrieve the rifle. Engage the 6 dueling tree targets and then put the remaining rounds on the dump target. Then grab the shotgun and move through doorway 2 to engage the pistol knockdowns. Then move through doorway 3 and engage those pistol knockdowns. Make up any standing targets on the static shotgun. There's a lot going on this stage, but let's see what happened first.
All right, Mordecai, whenever you're ready.
Let's do it.
Stand by. One. Good job. 3-1, 2-1, 31, 20.
Alright, so if you thought this whole video was going to be gunfighter, aren't you surprised? Didn't know you were getting a twofer, did ya? Anyway, it would have been difficult to shoot this stage gunfighter style for a few reasons. First off, you can't move with a cocked hammer and you can't decock, so a risk is that you start shooting the first 5 and then pull the hammer back for a 6th shot on accident before you move. Second, you can't holster a pistol with unfired rounds and then redraw them later, so you don't have a hand free to take your shotgun with you from the second doorway to the third. Now, again, bringing the shotgun with you is optional, but almost everyone had a makeup and no one left the shotgun behind. Fortunately, for stages like this, folks in the gunfire category can shoot duelist style, which actually had a few benefits. It removed the chance of wasting a shot by accidentally pulling the hammer back, which might not have been a big deal for me since I'm not super fast anyway. But the mine does strange things after the timer goes off, so whatever. It also freed up a hand to carry the shotgun around with me, and as a bonus, I didn't have to stage it on the barrels, which were not covered and looked super shaky. Not to mention, I was able to have my shotgun shouldered for the makeup after finishing with the knockdowns at doorway 3. Overall, I think this was my favorite stage of the match. It gave me an excuse to do something I'd never done on a timer before, and despite the fact that Gunfighter has the potential to be faster, I think this style was much more intuitive for someone coming from shooting with 2 hands. So finally, we have made it to the last stage of the match, which for us was stage 9 at the Alamo. Looks like we are starting at the center window with hands flat on the rifle. At the beep, engage the 10 rifle targets, then take the rifle with you to position 2 and knock down the pistol targets. Move as needed. Then knock down the shotgun targets and engage the static target for any misses. Again, there are some nuances here, but let's watch the stage first.
Let's do it. Stand by. Take it. Four shotgun and then one makeup. It was your last rifle shot. I didn't know if you knew or not.
Okay, so the challenge on this stage is getting into position for shooting the 10 pistol knockdown targets. Now, position 2 is indicated as either of the two tables, and you can move as needed, but you must be within arm's reach of one of the tables. You can't just run to the center. So there were some folks that were able to shoot all 10 pistol targets from one table, but the angle wasn't great, and I decided it would be better to move. Now, on this stage, it would have been possible to shoot gunfighter style so long as I didn't have a hammer cocked when moving, but I had so much fun shooting duelist on the previous stage that I wanted to do it again. It also came with the added bonus of being able to draw my pistol as I was running to position 2, and I was able to start grabbing the shotgun as I was finishing my second pistol. I got caught up in a few conversations with alias Nut and Graceful about little things like this that you can do as a duelist to steal back time, and it was really interesting to hear some of the ways that you can give yourself an edge and be competitive, even against two-handed shooters. Being able to get a head start on the next gun while finishing with your offhand pistol can be a huge advantage. Anyway, my pistol work on this stage proved that how much I enjoyed the previous stage wasn't a fluke, and aside from that pesky rifle miss, I was pretty pleased with my performance. And that was it, folks. We have finally made it to the end. Time to clean up and get ready for some chow and the awards ceremony. After it was all said and done, I managed to squeak out third place out of 9 gunfighters. The stages were challenging but still fun, the range is incredible, the food was excellent, and the company is unmatched. Overall, it was an amazing experience, and I can't wait to come back next year. If you're still watching, thanks for sticking around, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks to everyone that helped hold the camera and the folks willing to share their wisdom. If you see something I missed, feel free to comment, direct message, or come chat with me in person. Otherwise, see y'all on the range.